Mame I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there osia dem yopo.
Eye Godfred dame. Eye one terrible attorney general ayenya. Since say any see so ye nyini sa. But you want attorney generals, you want attorney generals, you want attorney generals. But this is the only time you want attorney general or second for. This is the only time you want attorney general. His actions, whatever he does in court, is totally different from what he does outside. This is the first time you want attorney general. He's more involved in corrupt deals than even criminals we were thinking. Say, this is the first time in the history of the Republic of Ghana we've gotten an attorney general, the whole nation we don't trust. The Minister of Justice, Onena, at the end of the day, who is supposed to give us some confidence, give some hope to the people when it comes to their protection, when it comes to legal issues in Ghana. The person who is supposed to uphold the integrity of our courts, our judicial system. 80% of Ghanaians today see him as a criminal. And when that happens, it means the law that holds the democracy of this nation, that law that is able to deal with every single individual, whether Ghanaian or non-Ghanaian in Ghana, the moment we start to have the least doubt about the person who is supposed to uphold that law, that means our democracy is shaky. Godfred Dame has become a persecutor instead of a prosecutor. Godfred Dame has become a disease to the justice system in Ghana. Attorney General Godfred Dame to appeal against decision of Court of Appeal acquitting and discharging minority leader Dr. Kesel Atoforsen. Yes, sorry, and you better say the appeals court in Ghana. Judge for me and Sa Atanasi Eti Atoforsen. Ene eye Jakpa appeal on the buyer say. Asema Attorney General Godfred Dame ejina so epese odibua omofono asemne ninjina so. Nemum Godfred Dame pese odi koti kwan bi so eni buga etata omo echi omkoto efiase efri se na adwini mu no omo ya NDC for enna wase di boni bia opese okata so omo ya asem ko duru appeals court no enna judge for no tenanse omo ya miensa na omo se omo hwa asem ne efri asem ne tifi akosi asem na afo omo hu se Attorney General Godfred Dame ensheda eningina so. The Attorney General does not really have a case, and that when they looked at the case from the beginning to where it is now, the evidence the accused have provided in court to support their case, they have also looked at the Attorney General's cases and prosecution cases, the amount and number of evidence he has provided as the state attorney. They came to that conclusion that the Attorney General does not have a solid case to prosecute, and that these men, Jakpa and Atoforsen, are supposed to walk free men, because the laws of the land says that we cannot bend the law. We cannot put people in jail when we don't have enough evidence beyond reasonable doubts to jail them. So the court itself, in its own wisdom, came to that conclusion. And in their final statement, they made it clear that this case that even came before them as the appeals court, the case wasn't even supposed to travel that far to the appeals court. Meaning, they were saying that the High Court judge, Madam Asantua, was supposed to stop this case. She has entertained the Attorney General's corrupt acts in court. She had opened a gap for the Attorney General to be putting in a lot of unfounded allegations against innocent men, honorable men. So in their final judgment, when you read their judgment, they were trying to say they are surprised that the High Court judge has allowed the Attorney General to misconduct himself delayed and wasted the resources of the Republic of Ghana. They were expecting Judge Efua Asantewaa to end the case. This is straightforward assessment of everything. Now, about 2-3 days ago, I was here, and I make a will say, "Sa Jakpa case where I could pay the appeals court." No? The case now does not even look like an ambulance case. The case itself is basically moving away from the so-called causing financial loss to the state into something called character assassination. The Attorney General, because he does not have enough evidence to prosecute Atoforsen and Jakpa, now has resorted to maligning accused people, trying to taint their character. The relevant case itself, which he has to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Atoforsen and Jakpa omaye dream bi adi ana asegana sikano. The Attorney General Godfred, he's moved away from that. Now he's looking at destroying the character of the accused. I don't care about the character of the accused. What I want you to prove to me is that the accused actually caused financial loss to the state. That is the bottom line. It is a utie the appeals court for judgment now. When you listen or read very well to the judgment from the appeals court today, it says the trial judge, Justice Efia Sewa, was wrong to ask Atoforsen to open his defense to prove that he had authorization to write those letters to Big C. And the appeals court for ruling, Omka say, Eyo mu say eye justice ana judge Efia Sewa. Etumi eye den eka kire eye Atoforsen say omumbie defense. Na defense omumbie ne say onkyere say eye letter na osign ye no eye the boss eye de setekwe ene ma no eye tumi no. Abra setekwe so abetena court aka kire wo judge say eye me ena me man tumi. Intina appeals court ka say e die pa na judge say wa e pay free Atoforsen wa all catching say on providing more evidence because nipa na o man no eye instructions no e ba court eye setekwe e ka kire eye court say me ena me man instructions no. Appeals court for no air truck for say the burden of proof that Atoforsen had no authorization to write those letters was on the prosecution to prove. Appeals court for no catch eye omo final judgment no say anyanya bia Atoforsen de or say eye the boss setekwe and the man instructions man sign sa letter of credit no. Inti omo kura no omo say it is on the Attorney General mom na was approve say in fact eye Atoforsen enye setekwe ene man no e de tumi say on sign because Atoforsen otini baby ena Attorney General ka che ne say what sign karata no say karata no me boss na man instructions me boss so abeka o court say yes on the man instructions no enti eye Attorney General mom ena sunida ne so say e wo so kire say the Atoforsen ka ene setekwe ka no e ya tro enti adenti krampo na eye judge no etie sa asem we in the first place na nkeni se judge no krampo ma asem no every baby e wo no abedru ha ma catch them for almost a month. Me say the problem in this case is the judge. It's not the Attorney General because the Attorney General is operating on the judge's their softness. Because the judge is giving the Attorney General the room to fool, that is why Godfred is fooling. Because if the judge had been rigid and stuck to the principles and questioned the Attorney General, the case wouldn't have traveled this far. And today, me catch them. Me say this ambulance case here, they be Attorney General Godfred Jakpa. The judge is the problem. For the judge to even say Atoforsen should open defense any Jakpa, it showed clearly say the judge wanted to frustrate the accused. Even her own colleagues in the appeals court, they in their final submission or in their judgment, they made it clear say, Judge eye sewa ena eye dien or na eye the problem in this case. Me na me kai eye brofo ye nyina ya kan ye nyina ye hu the onwani colleagues eka. So why should anybody blame Kevin Taylor for saying say Judge Sewa has been the problem from day one? Because if she had basically asked the right questions, Godfred Dame wouldn't have fooled himself to this point. But the judge gave Godfred Dame a lot of room to misbehave and fool himself, even at a point where Godfred Dame decides not to even question the accused, but write questions to give to his subordinate to answer, to question the accused. It is one of the most careless things we have seen in our courts or in any court in the Republic of Ghana. The Attorney General does not question the accused. He sits in court and writes questions for somebody to question the accused, because the Attorney General knows when he faces the accused on those questions, the accused will accuse him, because the accused have already made it clear with evidence that the Attorney General is a criminal who discusses cases outside court. When you read the judgment from the appeals court today, these are some of the things they said. If anyone was culpable, it ought to be those in charge of Ministry of Health and not Deputy Minister for Finance, who from the evidence officially performed his duty. Appeals court of one say, adikudienti omugina so akasa atofo in nkofie ne Jakpa mu nkofie ne say ye pe obi kura so mo pa asem we mu nyina no eye the Ministry of Health na enye minister na ye man instructions say onye den onu mom inside den eye the document no into o see senka ye pe obi kura so mo pa e wasem mu a Ministry of Health na enye the minister or the deputy minister for finance, because a ministry no any big C assign a contract. The minister was just performing his duty. How can you as an attorney general come and say almost sign contract? No, you don't have a problem with them, and those who basically were doing their jobs by signing documents for people to be paid, they have caused financial loss. The ministry itself, the Ministry of Health, had somebody who sat with a big C to sign the contract. The contract was between the Ministry of Health and the big C company. So why are we going after the Deputy Finance Minister who took instructions from his boss to sign a letter of credit? The appeals court went on to say this: the positive facts from the prosecutor in this case are lacking, leaving mere conjecture and speculations. Almost say, Attorney General no, the all your courts in no, appeals court no, ehuni say, eye huridi hurada. Ni asemia omugina so. The yeri nyina ne say, bo mu sirem speculations. Say Attorney General no, oni engina so. On suddenly a same party be a ojina so e twa ho e de atia eye attorney eye atoforsen ene Jakpa. Inti majority of the time no, the Attorney General Godfred Dame eye court ni nyina eye bosire muka. Ye ka say speculations and conjecture. O kekan sem sieni na wa bonisirem e de amagana for dwen say eye asema e wongyina so. We appeals court for asema omoka. Mi GIGIGIMM sanya be ya obehu de course or court de eye Madam Sewa onwani colleagues chrofa eye onwana dua oye won high court ho almost eye bosire muka ene ensem kwa wakeke sieni na Attorney General ne hyeda ni asem papa bia ogina so edidi asem no. Appeals court for asema omochurama ye say yen kan no into omankasa no uti omasem na obo de tofa omo person ka kire Ghana for say Attorney General Godfred Dame ni case na emom eye judge say wa na asoso Godfred Dame so emani jimi no ho. These are judges, I don't know them, they are colleagues to Madam Sewa. They are trying to explain the reason why omuhuni say e was say atofos nkofie ene Jakpa so ekofie. Now, Say, who study case here very well, you will see, say, Mr. S. When you read these things from the appeals court, as a Ghanaian, you have to be very worried. You have to start panicking. Because if you have a judge, the colleagues, etumi kachere say, what you are doing is that you are aiding and abetting. You are basically guiding a criminal to prosecute innocent men. We are Ghanaian walking on the street of Ghana. Now we need political connection, we need sika. You have to be very careful. Say, unya judges telling their colleague, say, you know definitely that what you are doing is wrong. You want to prosecute innocent people for them to go die in jail. Her colleagues writing such a judgment to their colleague judge, you need to be very careful as a Ghanaian. It goes beyond Jakpa and forcing. It goes to the core of our judicial settings or our judicial service. It clearly says or states, say, from the Omo Kane will say, there are some judges in Ghana who know the truth, but deliberately decide to connive with prosecutors to end the lives of people in their courtrooms. Hey, the judgment from the appeals court, it is the terminal report of a Judge Sewa. The judgment from the appeals court, it has basically summed up Judge Sewa's judicial history. And this is not something we have to joke with. Even for Attorney General to say, Semesako Supreme Court, it is telling you, say, even we Ghanaians and judges knowing clearly and stating clearly, said the Attorney General is persecuting people, he still have some hope in some part of the judiciary. For him to even just say, what you people are saying is clear cut. It is true. But I know a way. But I still believe that my crooked ways, there are people who I go to can change what is right to become what is wrong, and in my eyes become right. It should be worrying to every single Ghanaian. Because the confidence that Attorney General, is saying that he's going to move this case to the Supreme Court, then it means whatever he is testing at the High Court, he believes that he can test it better in the Supreme Court. Because in the High Court, he's being treated as a darling boy. Even though he's shitting on himself, the judge there is telling him that it is Chokomilo. Even though he's fooling himself, the judge there is just tapping him on the back. Even though he's foolishly exhibiting the highest form of criminality in courtroom, Madam Sewa or Sewa is telling him, you are a last born, so don't cry. He still has that confidence and believes that if Sewa gave him that audacity and room to misbehave and fool, of course, he's going to get a better pampering. And Attorney General Godfred is so confident that after all the appeals court judges, what they said and concluded the case, he still believes there's more ice up there. It should worry you. It should worry you because Attorney General Obiabe the kind of Attorney General, or the who hope Supreme Court, it means he knows there's something in the Supreme Court you don't know. Then it means Godfred knows there is something Madam Tokonu has that we don't know she has up there. And he's so attracted to his mom, Madam Tokonu. He knows when he goes there, something will happen. When he goes to the Supreme Court with all due respect and shits on himself, somebody in the Supreme Court will say, this is Chokomilo, stick some and eat. It is sweet. He knows when he goes, with all due respect to the Supreme Court, he goes there and does what? Vomit on himself. Somebody will say, this is just ice cream. Don't worry, it's vanilla. Just eat it. He has that belief and confidence upon all the embarrassment that the appeals court and upon all the revealing the appeals court has revealed. He still has the confidence that the Supreme Court that the Supreme Court, there is somebody at the Supreme Court who will protect his criminality. And that is the most dangerous thing in our judicial settings. I am worried. I am worried because we have an Attorney General who still thinks that there are judges in the Supreme Court who condone criminality. What is giving him that confidence? What is making him still believe that when I go up there, something positive will happen? It is because he has dealt with some people who have helped him before to commit a crime. Experience is always the best teacher. Until you've tasted that, you cannot speak on that. So what you don't know, you don't know. Answer any friend better board than a nice biso. The Attorney General Godfred believes that even though he's a criminal down here, when he goes up there, he will be seen as a bishop. And that is what is giving him the confidence to tell you and I, he will still go to the Supreme Court and change this verdict. Ghana 4. These people are dangerous people. We need to change them. We need to vote against them. We need to change the destiny of this nation. Godfred Dame or a criminal. There are people in our judicial settings who have aided this guy to this point. Last me catch them. I was the same person who sat here to tell you there was a time former Chief Justice Echo South Africa. Doche was acting. Godfred Dame went to Doche. Was about Opuni's case. He went to Doche's office, connived with Doche. They changed the review of Opuni's case. I came here to tell Ghanaians this is what is happening. My name was mentioned in the Supreme Court. The Attorney General was told to sit in a box and take an oath. He didn't do it. Godfred Dame is a dangerous human being. So, now we analyze how he operates. A started free a year Jakpa. When Jakpa at the end of the day went to appeals court and won a case, Godfred Dame went to the Supreme Court and overturned the case. Make sure why Godfred Dame has the confidence in the Supreme Court. So, even when he shits on himself, Yabeka say Komilo. Let me show you why. And why that guy is dangerous. And why we as Ghanaians have to change this. It started from Jakpa. When Jakpa went to High Court and got a ruling, Godfred Dame in 24 hours went to the Supreme Court and overturned that ruling. Mokai. Ofriho and about Opuni. Opuni went to the High Court. Opuni got a ruling. And yet the Attorney General went to the Supreme Court and overturned that ruling. If it were the people of Sal, Echo High Court, the Attorney General, after the decision was made, went to Eden, the Supreme Court, and overturned that decision. We were here, ambulance trial. And yet this same case, Dame, ran back to the appeals court. Today, when he went to the appeals court, things haven't gone the way he wanted to go. He actually won one. Now he's saying he's going to move from appeals court to go to the Supreme Court. Now let me tell you, when Godfred Dame goes to the Supreme Court, he overturned this verdict. So we'll share the sequence and how he has always resorted to the Supreme Court. There's some cake sitting there. There's a booty at the Supreme Court that Godfred Dame enjoys eating. He is confident that upon all the things that I have told you, he's confident that when he goes there, there's somebody in the Supreme Court who overturned the verdict. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has appointed so many MPP foot soldiers into our courts. There are judges that we saw them sit on radio to say they are MPP judges, lawyers. They will go to Supreme Court, they'll go to Appeals Court, they'll go to High Court and make sure they work for the NPP. Today, Akufo-Addo has made those people High Court judges, Appeal Court judges. We know people who are MPP card-bearing members today, they are in the Supreme Court. Godfred Dame has confidence in Akufo-Addo's criminality. We as a people should stop this. Hey, sorry, Ghana in there. And told that. And so nine. adan kofo we de emra ebe hye wo kon by force. Ede be hye unua bi kon ebe hye wankasa kon, you will see what I am talking about. Say ehia. A vote for the NPP is basically a death warrant. You are basically killing yourself. Ghanaians, my job here is to guide you, tell you the truth, show you the facts, and let you understand that this government needs to be voted against, irrespective of who leads them. I cannot force you to drink. Say in sukom do. Na so person will live or as you will drink the water. You have gotten to that point where you have to make the decision. I have told you there's a reason to do ba insura no me pese wonom. There's a reason to am so to my NDC because o me to my sanyo mama. But that will is left with you to make that decision. Wodwuma be ye say obekọ court obenya atentene say oban bi beba nyoma beko yie yembo wutuo nipa bebu oman no sebio yekebi ma menkebi begina ne naso krono ketahye so betwa nipa bi ebegina fias ebegina court no eyi ensama no yebebu nipa bi say oman beko gina ma yebu omfo efiri se omo digana sika. It is up to you to make this possible. All these things will be possible when you vote against the NPP because that is the only way corruption beko. We can sanitize the courts. We can make sure say ekura etimuno nipa bi omodi bone omotiaka. We can make sure say Ghana na etino yensuro a yenyina ebehu se oma etimno bambo eyadia eda president akomaso. It is possible to get rid of these diseases. It is possible to make sure these things these people have invested on us. Sa boni, sa jimisem, sa nkwasiasem. It is possible to get rid of it. How do you do that? You need to vote against the NPP. Irrespective of who is in front of you. Vote against the NPP because it is possible to get rid of criminals in Ghana. It is possible to jail animals who are today using us as animals. It is possible for us to bring back our democracy. It is possible to make sure Kufuado, Bawumia, these NPP criminals who have stolen from us go to jail. It is possible. It is possible because you and I, when we vote them out, we can come together and go after them. It is possible to chase these bald heads out of this country. They are animals. They have no feelings. They kill and laugh about it. They think governance is entitlement. It is you and I. We make governance. It is our responsibility to change these idiots. It is possible to drive out criminals. It is possible to stop this tribal bigots. It is possible to let these fools pay for their sins. My name is Kevin Akoberu Taylor. After this short break.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Ah nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.